Welcome to the ArmaniTalks YouTube channel, the #1 YouTube channel for you to level up your communication skills, learn the art of public speaking, social skills, and personal branding to take your message to the world. If you're new to this channel, don't forget to hit subscribe right on below for 3 weekly videos on how to become more charismatic and how to avoid the sinister charisma that's out there in this world. Normally on this channel, I'm talking about how you can improve your communication skills so you can build your influence, whether it's online or offline. Today's episode is going to be different because charisma, it's not always a good thing. There's also a lot of darkness that comes with it. And with this darkness, you have to understand a certain level of social intelligence so you're able to navigate around this darkness. One of these darknesses is known as the Gaslight Effect. And this is a way that others can manipulate you. Because persuasion, it's not just about shits and giggles in a good way where you're closing a deal, you're getting a number, a text message from that cute girl. It's not only that. Manipulation is also a form of persuasion. Others can make you think a certain amount of thoughts, intentions, and feelings without you even being aware. Most individuals who are getting manipulated have no clue. If they did, then they'd wake up and dip. The reason that they stay is because their social intelligence, unfortunately, in certain occasions, are being blinded. In today's episode, you're going to understand what it is that makes up the gaslight effect, because there's different definitions for it. Some say that someone is showing you a lot of attention, then they just take it away. Others are saying that they're making you question yourself, second guess yourself. Look, all those definitions are true, but we're going to get down to the fundamentals of it. If you're ready to level up your social intelligence and make sure that you avoid dark charisma, make sure you drop a like right on below and let's get started. Armani, I've noticed you used the word dark charisma a few times. Why? Well, the reason why is because I consider charisma the dynamite of the social intelligence world. It was Alfred Nobel who created the dynamite. And initially, when he created the dynamite, he was extremely happy because he felt as though this new invention, it was going to be used for good. But that wasn't the case. Alfred Nobel's invention actually caused a lot of destruction. When we think of the dynamite, we're not thinking about it in terms of peace, like we do the Nobel Peace Prize. Yes, Alfred Nobel is the guy who the Nobel Peace Prize is named after. But just look at this. The dynamite, even though it had positive intentions, and it can be used for positives, there's a lot of ways that it can be used for negatives as well. And it's the same thing with charisma, because charisma is what I call the attractive personality. But charisma is not just a character trait either. It can be for the people who are doing it correctly, and the correct way to do charisma is to have an advancing personality. If you ever read the book Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles, he talks about the advancing personality in a very simple way. He talks about it leaving someone a little bit better off than you found them. That's the character charisma, the good charisma. The dark charisma is when you are just putting on an act. You are showcasing a lot of the same traits as this personality right here, yet you're actually putting on an act. You're not necessarily an advancing personality, but you know how to use words correctly in order to give the impression that you are an advancing personality. And this individual right here has supreme social intelligence as well. It's just their character is flawed. Now what's spooky is at times, if you have low social intelligence, you don't have much social skills, you're not able to distinguish between these two parties. They look the same. You give both of them the same amount of respect, the same amount of trust, and eventually these people won't let you down, but these people are the ones who end up backstabbing you. And one of their favorite tools, the negative people, is gaslighting. And one of the best ways for you to understand gaslighting is via basketball. Basketball? Really? Yes. When I was first learning how to play basketball, I loved the game. It was so unique. You just have a ball and you could do so much stuff with it. You could shoot with it, you could pass it, you could rebound it. Oh wait, there's another move that I haven't brought up yet. The crossover. The crossover is one of the most mighty moves. And if you go on YouTube, you can find out what it is. Just in a nutshell, what it means is, you're dribbling the ball, and the defender is guarding you. And what you do is you pretend to be going this way. You fool the defender into thinking you're going this way. And then suddenly you snap back to the other way. The defender is still going this way, while now you have a clear lane to the rim. Do you see what the basketball player just did? They're leading the defender one way, then they switch to a brand new direction. And that direction allows the basketball player to have a clear lane. Well, that right there is very similar to what gaslighting is about. The gaslighting is what I call the crossover of the social skills world, manipulation edition. They're taking the victim one way, they're feeding them a certain amount of, let's say, lies. And then out of the blue moon, there's a cross where the other person finally just wakes up and they're like, oh wait, has this person been lying to me the entire time? That's one way to do the gaslight effect. Another way is, when we think of the gaslight effect, we mainly associate it just with relationships. But imagine that we are talking about relationships right now. What's one way that you can cross someone over? Well, imagine if one person is showing another person a lot of attention in the beginning stages of the relationship. They're, going this direction with the victim. And then suddenly could be 2 weeks, it could be 3 months, it could be a year, whatever. There's a snap and the manipulator switches directions. And from here, we had all this attention being given to the other party, but now, right here, no attention, very minimal. They went from hot to cold. The crossover has happened. And when the crossover happens, what goes on with the victim is that sudden changes make a room for emotions to go up. That's why individuals who are being manipulated, it doesn't matter how smart they are, they're just not able to logically put it together. They're not logically able to be like, all right, well, this person just did this X, Y, and Z. That's not how it happens. When your emotions are high up there from a sudden change like that, your logic starts to become suspended and you start to become more emotional. Just to give you an example, with public speaking, you can logically say all the reasons why you shouldn't be nervous regarding a speech. Yo, champ, you're a subject matter expert regarding the topic. You only have to speak for 10 minutes. The audience loves you. These are very logical definitions. Yet, once you feel the fear, all these stuff take the back burner, and now you're just focusing on the fear. The fear is no longer allowing you to think clearly in nice linear links. Instead, you're all over the spot. You're thinking, oh, well, I'm going to choke the speech because of this, because of that, because of that. And it's the same thing that the gaslighter is capable of doing. Once they go and do that crossover, what happens is the victim, their emotions are skyrocketing. And when the emotions are skyrocketing, the victim finds it very difficult to think in a linear way, in a clear way. So now their thinking has become muddied. Now, the main thing that you want to realize is that you just want to understand a few of the frameworks that I'm talking about in this episode, because all gaslighters do not operate with the same exact principles. You follow this, and you got a gaslighter. That's not how it works. You just need to understand the core fundamental levels, which is a sudden change that starts to spike up emotions and it muddies thinking. And oftentimes, when we are being gaslighted, due to the muddied thinking, we have no clue that it's happening. We're starting to think, this doesn't feel right. And we try to logic with it a little too much. Because when you try logicking with humans, you start realizing that at times, a lot of the narratives don't fit. I mean, it doesn't necessarily fit that a person that's giving a lot of attention in one segment suddenly switches. Which is why, in times like this, when your emotions are spiked, you just need to go back to the fundamentals. And you need to understand what social energy is all about. Social energy is what is going to allow you to spot the difference between the good charisma and dark charisma. And there's two types of social energy out there. It's empowering and it's draining. That's it. Empowering or draining. All individuals that we meet are giving us one or the other feeling. And if you're not giving either feeling, that means you're boring. But for the most part, humans are giving you the empowering or the draining feeling. When you're evaluating whether or not you're getting gaslighted or whether or not someone is toxic, you don't need to be talking too much in the logical side. Well, this person wouldn't do that. Look at their credentials. They went to this nice school. They do this. They have a nice family. No. You're thinking with the wrong hat on. You just need to go back to the basics. Are they empowering you or are they draining you? If they're empowering you, then you're feeling better after the interaction is done. And if they're draining you, then you're feeling worse after the interaction is done. And here's the thing, with social energy, no one can tell you how to feel. This is what we call subjective science. With subjective science, the ball is in your court, which is why if you are someone who is getting manipulated, at first, it's going to be annoying to take the blame because you may not want to take the blame. Maybe there was very little that you personally think you had to deal with in regards to this interaction. But still, if you want to acknowledge social energy, you have to flip the ball back in your court. When you think you are being manipulated, when you think there is some kinds of gaslight effects going on, they're leading you one way, then they cross over, that's when you need to take the ball back into your court and analyze your two social energies. Am I feeling empowered or am I feeling drained? When you just have these two, it doesn't matter how muddied your thinking is after a gaslight effect, you're still able to analyze your feelings. The person, for public speaking, who's terrified, if I were to say, are you nervous? They're not going to need a lot of time to think because they have their subjective science on point. They can say, yes, I am very nervous because I'm feeling drained. So ultimately, what I want you to understand is that manipulation is a form of persuasion, and it happens via dark charisma. Dark charisma is similar at first to light charisma, the attractive personality, the advancing personality, but this person is putting on an act. And as they're putting on an act, you'll realize that the gaslight effect spills over into different types of behavior. Sometimes they're trying to distort your vision of reality. Other times they'll give you attention, take it away. Other times they'll paint others against you. Whatever the case is, the general principle to understand is that the manipulator is leading you one way, like the basketball player, then they're crossing over to another way. During that crossover phase, the manipulation, aka the emotions, start to rise. And as the emotions rise, the thinking becomes muddied. When the thinking becomes muddied, most people are even more susceptible to the manipulator and they're doing whatever the manipulator says, while the smart people, The people that watch this channel, the people that are leveling up their social intelligence are like, wait a minute, Armani said something about analyzing social energy, something like that, even when my thinking is muddied. All right, what were the two social energies again? Empowering or draining? Ah, okay. Yeah. Let me bring the ball back in my court. Let me analyze the feelings. Oh, wait, I feel that. I'm not feeling good. And that's when you're going to start making a better judgmental decision for your next step. Manipulators are all around you. What you can do to the best of your ability is to learn from betrayals, backstabbing, and all of that, because you're never going to fully get rid of this. You could be the most socially intelligent person out there, but you're still going to get backstabbed, betrayed every now and then. But learn about this and learn how to improve your own social skills as well. The more that you keep flipping the ball back in your court and leveling up your subjective science, the more that you're going to start realizing, wait, I know that there's going to be dark creatures in the social skills world, but I'm still going to invest in my social intelligence to make sure that I'm joining the light side. And when the light side is here, I'm going to be able to have a much better chance of being able to spot the dark ones rather than not investing on my social intelligence at all. It doesn't need to be too difficult. Make it easy and start leveling up your social skills. If you want more insights into how to improve your social intelligence, make sure you check out The Charisma King, an ebook where I discuss principles regarding social intelligence, such as managing social anxiety, how to have charisma, and how to build a social circle full of winners. To grab your copy, make sure you hit the link in the description box right on below. And thank you for joining the Armani Talks YouTube channel.